So this is some of the ones I've already had set up for a while. As you can see, things are growing really well. I just actually planted this lettuce right here, I think 3 days ago. And most of it's doing okay. It's looking a little peaked. It's also super hot in here. But it looks okay for the most part. The pak choi is looking really good. But what I brought you in here for is to look at this. And this is just regular styrofoam. It's a 3/4 styrofoam from Home Depot. And I used, and this is weird how it worked out, but I actually used a that 6-pack of styrofoam. It's like garage door insulation styrofoam or something. I'll put a picture of it in the I'll put a picture of it up so you can kind of see which one I'm talking about. But it's cool because this actually works out to where this is one of the pieces, and these pieces, when you divide them into thirds, like along their length, just like, hang on, I'm gonna try to set this up. This is what they look like whenever you first get them. They're just kind of flat like that. There, all like that. And then when you divide it into thirds, like that, it just so happens to be the perfect width for these. So it works out great. Like, instead of buying, I mean, you can probably get big 4x8 sheets cheaper, but this is already kind of pre-cut to where all you gotta do is just knock it into thirds, and then you're good to go. And with these, the thing that I found out is that, like, I don't put any other additional support on these. You see how it's like flexing? See that? When I'm pushing on it, it's flexing like that. But I don't really, it's not necessary. Whenever you go to put the styrofoam in, it actually helps make it rigid. And then also when the water is in this, when the water gets in it, it's going to spread it just a little bit like that, and it's going to make it more rigid. But once these go in and then the styrofoam's actually going to sit right on top of it, like in this ridge. So let's see, yeah, so you can see this. So basically, I just put the styrofoam in the ridge like that, and then I just pull the vinyl out on the other side and then just slide it in like that. Let's see, as you can see, it's sitting down in there just a little bit. So let's see if we can zoom in a little bit on that. So that's that, and it just sits right in under that ridge and that lip. There's really nothing holding it on that ridge, just except for this little tiny ridge is what's holding it in place. There's nothing holding it on the other side. So if you push down on this, it'll actually kind of fall in on there. But once this has water in it, you know, the styrofoam's going to float anyway, so it's going to have a tendency to want to stay up. And then also, if you don't mess with it, it's going to be fine. So also, it's got pressure on it because of the width of the styrofoam that we put in here. So it's got pressure pushing outwards, which helps hold, you know, the styrofoam in place. So I've not had any problem with it with all these. So, you know, it's worked out really good so far. So that's why I recommend doing it this way. Everything is looking a little better today. There was a storm here earlier, and some of the styrofoam got blown around that was up here. But other than that, it's everything looks good and pretty healthy.